my headphones for a minute, just to make sure everything's hokey pokey here. I'm running through a bunch of computers and everything just to make sure that we get a good sound. Hope everybody's. Oh, there we go. It would help if I had my mic on. I didn't have my mic on. That's why I was wondering why I was so quiet. Good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everyone. Don Ross and Brooke Miller here. Welcome to our live stream Sunday. It's 2 o'clock in Nova Scotia, and it's a whole lot of different o'clocks wherever you guys are. Hope you're following us okay on YouTube and Facebook. And there's Janet, so something must be working. I'm going to just make sure that we're running smoothly here before we get going for real, and make sure that, yeah, there's our Sunday concert. I can see it on YouTube. And let's see about Facebook. Let's just make double sure. Yeah, it looks like there's some people checking in. Yeah, there we are. All right, we're all good. So nice to see everybody again. Thanks very much to the Dalhousie University Guitar Department for hosting us again for another streaming concert. Each of Brooke and I have done some solo shows for Dalhousie, and I think we've maybe done one together in the past. I'm not sure, can't remember.
Yeah, I think a couple.
Been a few of them. Going to start off with Brooke doing a tune for you here. Why don't you tell them
we
what
are?
you want to do?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, we're doing that. All right. So this goes, we have this fantastic super fan who's also a nurse, a healthcare worker, Janet Cole, who always sends us a few requests every time we do a live show or any kind of show. So here's a little ditty for Janet right off the bat. And am I unmuted there and everything? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, looks like you're good. I can still hear a cell phone working, but what can you do?
It's not mine.
Yeah.
It must be yours.
Just don't know where mine is. Isn't that funny?
Down there.
Oh, there it is, of course, because the tuner's on it. I'll get the airplane mode going on that.
We're really organized for a Sunday.
Yeah, I've actually been setting up for hours here, so. But there's always something at the last second. Always. Every time you stream a show, there's always something. Anyway, I'm just going to turn the airplane mode on so that we don't get that irritating noise.
So this is going to be a pretty casual setup, and like Don said, the Dalhousie Guitar Program students are joining us, and it's always fun to do that gig. Normally we would be at the university campus itself here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and do usually an acoustic setup just to play for a bunch of students, and there'd be a Q&A portion, which was always fun, and so I think some of those students are joining us from all over the planet, wherever they are and studying online. So thanks again to Doug Reach for having us. So I think, are we going to do a Q&A portion, do you think?
I can try to watch comments, and if people have questions, that's great.
Right.
It's a little more challenging because we're both busy with the show, but we'll do what we can.
We'll do what we can. Like I say, it's a pretty casual setup, and I'm sure you guys appreciate that because it's Sunday and many of you are in your pajamas. I'm in my pajamas from my ankles down, where I'm wearing my slippers. Anyway, so here's a tune called Fade Away.
Cold feet for the first time, and I don't even know when. Get out from me. Oh, I can be the first one. Every little thing done. I've been clambering bit by the corners of every day. Oh, body in a blanket of desires I'll never say. And it burns away. And it burns away. the pedal. This time it wasn't my idea. Big boom from a big gun, and a whisper is all you hear. I got a good mind to get going. Body stammers around instead. Oh, whisper on a new streets. Same old whisper, different place. Burns away. And it fades away. You will light up, you will light up like fire on ice. You will light up, you will light up like fire on How does it go? Janet, help me out. Oh, Indian summer, oh, carry me far away. Gold wing on a wingspan, gold light over everything. I know I write these lines and I feel so crazy, no matter what they're gonna say. No matter what they're gonna say. Fade away. And it fades away. It fades away. And it fades away.
That was a version of that song.
Yeah, that was a brand new version.
Thank you. You hold, no.
Brand new. It was
Boo.
beautiful. Brand new, you know.
All
Brand
right.
new.
All right, Don. Show us your stuff.
I,
Remember
I'm
all
gonna,
your lines.
you know what? I'm gonna play a tune I haven't played in a while. Our super fan Janet, whom Brooke has already
Superfan
mentioned,
Janet.
requested that tune. She also requested this next one. So I'm gonna guarantee that I don't forget and play it first. And so this tune is originally from an album that came out, jeepers, a good 10 years ago anyway, or 9 years ago. Album called Upright and Locked Position, and this is the title track from it. And if you're a guitar player and you want to know, the tuning is an open C minor 11th chord, which sounds kind of like that. Rat Purdy. And I am just going to make one more technical check just to make sure that it looks like everything is good. And it does look like everything's good. People are saying it sounds good. I'll have to take them at their word. Why would they lie? I have no idea. So this is called Upright and Locked Position.
Do it.
Got one errant string. There's always something. What is it about these live streams? There's always some kind of cool, new, weird thing that happens. Oh, this is my new string that I just put on that I forgot to curl up.
There you go.
I broke a string just before we went live, like you always do. Like I say, there's always something, right? caught in my fingerboard, of course.
I think it's interesting that people have asked you in the past why you curl up your strings as opposed to snip them off. And I mean, for as long as I've known you, you've done both. But for some reason, like it became this almost like a Don Ross thing that people have gone, I noticed Don always curls up his strings, and is it a technique thing? And I just thought that was kind of adorable. You know, and here you can see it's like a badly shorn goatee almost that you have.
Matches the way my hair looks most of the time. Well, there's even a young man who several years ago made a video about how to curl your strings like Don Ross.
Oh, it's so sweet.
He actually called it Don Ross's Magic Strings. Yeah. No, I started doing it when I was a kid because I would retune so much, and I would always prick my finger on the strings when I cut them with a snipper. But I learned a technique a while ago where you actually just wiggle the wound strings, especially until they just break off, and they break off really clean, and you don't catch yourself on them. So I've been doing that more and more when I remember to. Here we go, upright and locked position. After a fashion.
Oh.
Seemed to work.
Any questions up there?
Yeah,
Any,
feel free to.
questions or songwriting questions or?
Yeah, feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah, by all means.
Trying to check the comments here. We have people tuning in from Chile and from Athens, Greece,
Fun.
and let's see,
Greece.
Matthias, I guess, is coming in from Germany. I'm not sure. There's Janet from Beaverbank, Nova Scotia. Wayne Janssen, Kerstin from Germany. Hi, Kerstin.
We have some of our students from the Don Ross Guitar Academy joining us as
that's
well.
right.
So
Yes,
our
the Don
members,
Ross
hi
Guitar
everyone.
Academy. Very nice. Oh, there's Maryse checking in from Marseille. Bonsoir, Maryse.
Nice.
Bienvenue. That's great. Hi, Barbara, old high school bud. Let's see now. Ooh, all kinds of nice things. Belgium, British Columbia.
Wow.
Fantastic. Really nice. Far and wide. Venezuela. Holy smokes. Texas.
Venezuela.
Ireland, Ontario.
Incredible.
All over the place.
That's
Chris Darling
amazing.
from Maine. That's fantastic.
Brilliant.
Really nice to see so many people tuning in from all over the
really.
place.
Wow.
And feel free to ask any questions. We can make this a tiny bit of a Q&A as well as a concert.
Absolutely. Why not?
But in the meantime,
Do you know the
Brooke,
song?
you got another tune lined up for us? Hello to Chile. Hi, Danilo. Nice to see you in all the way from way down south to way up north. Let's see. What Dermot from Ireland. Yes, that's
Oh my.
fantastic.
This is Dawn's strap.
Oh, I didn't make it small enough.
That's fine.
I made it a lot smaller, but
I know, it's fine.
I realize how many times bigger than you I am whenever I go to do stuff like that. It's a bit of a hassle to redo it.
It's
Sorry about
all
that.
good, no worries. So I'm going to try a song I wrote a long time ago, and I haven't played it in a while. So I think, I don't play as much these days as I used to, and I'm noticing it every time I go back to playing. My hands have to, awaken their muscle memory, but also all those little motor skills that you don't use in the same way, I find really fascinating, mainly because I'm a bit of a neuro geek, but the way that I just have to kind of wake up those little movements before I can just straight up play old songs again. So please forgive me for having a couple of mittens on my hands today. But anyway, okay, here we go. There we go. So I always imagined this song. I was hoping one day I would imagine a group that did more like prog goth rock would cover. I kind of fantasized about a group like Evanescence covering or something, with someone with a female voice, a really strong heroine-ness, female voice, and some big, dark undertones to the song, and loud as hell. So that's kind of always the way I imagined the song when I wrote it. And it's hard to translate that some on the guitar, but the reason I like it on the this is the Greenfield G4, and it's called a dadgad guitar, but it's built to kind of live inside of a C minor 11th tuning. And yeah, this strap is really super duper small, or big. Anyway, so the way that I imagined this song is, like many songs, they're kind of born on an instrument and then they translate to other arrangements. But I don't know if anyone has a connection to some big, fabulous metal band who would like to cover the song. I'd love to hear that. I imagine this is a metal song to me. That's my head. That's where my brain thinks about this song. Yeah, metal songs. I write them now. Here we go. This is Big Deal. Oh, Lordy. Oh, and I had a gentleman, forgive me, names are not my strong point, a gentleman who wrote me recently on my music page on Facebook and said that he had covered it and wanted to learn the song because of the challenge of playing it and also because of the kind of constant stream of lyrics. But he sent me a video of the recording that he did for it. And I was always, it's super flattering, and I'm always kind of in love with the way that people interpret songs. And he made it his own. He's a hobby player. He's just loves the challenge, and he's doing these things for the sake of growth and playing new stuff. And so anyway, that was pretty cool. That happened this year. I'll find his name and I'll give a shout out on my page because I really appreciate when people reach out with that kind of stuff. Okay, big deal. All right.
Tiny steps to get your hands in place. Push your feeling right against the wall and try to cover it with a white sound. Push your feeling right up in my face. It's a big deal. What you gonna do? It's a big deal. What you gonna lose? Double digits reach for everything it sees. It takes you and double takes you every single time. Rough title on a puddle in your playground. It's still the strangest thing that's happened to me. It's a big deal. What you gonna do? It's a big deal. What you gonna lose? It's a big deal. What you gonna do? And one consciousness met its arrival, I bet it just stammered into each other's arms. An unusual meet and a kind of defeat, only the best way to sound off any alarm. Oh, set out a military heart in the place of an art and a love and the ship that it's in. I am calling out over a tower of a natural building. It's a big deal. Oops. What you gonna do? It's a big deal. What you gonna lose? Oh, it's a big deal. What you gonna do? Oh, it's a big deal. What you gonna do? Oh, what you gonna do? I am calling out over a tower of immeasurable dim.
Yeehaw.
Big deal.
Yes, indeed.
Metal song. Someone cover that and make it a metal song. I would love to hear that. All of you amazing musicians in Venezuela and all over the place watching, if someone could make that like a big heavy metal song, I would love to hear it. I challenge you. Send it to me.
And thanks for the input on the sound levels. Trying something a little different this time, trying to go a little more high tech with the sound. So I'm actually going through a digital audio workstation to get the sound, and then going to another computer to run it into the streaming software. So it's very complicated, but anyway, I think the results are better, and just never sure with the streaming software if I'm too loud or not loud enough. So thanks for the tips, folks. I basically raised the level overall. I'm trying not to make it sound crunchy, but thanks for your input. Really appreciate it. Yeah,
Any questions there?
oh yeah, any questions from anyone? Just a lot of nice comments,
Nice.
a lot of happy people. It's very nice to see.
That's what we want.
Yeah, people still checking in from all over the world. It's fantastic.
It's crazy. This never ceases to amaze me. Every time we do one of these live streaming shows, we have such a big response from all over the planet. And
Yeah, it's really
incredible.
cool. It's very cool.
bonkers.
Oh, I thought I turned that off. Somebody's gonna start texting me, and it's gonna make all kinds of noise. And I already turned this off. It's set to off. Why am I still hearing it?
You're on mute. Put your whole desktop.
Yeah, it is. It is muted. It's really funny. There's just too many things going on. And let's see now.
Too many buttons.
Output, internal speakers. Yeah, balance. Yeah, that's puts all the way down. Whatever. Just people. Whenever somebody texts me, you're gonna hear a little ding. Anyway, whatever. Yeah. So I got a request for this next one. So I'll come up on the feed here. Of course, it's a fan favorite. And a slightly different tuning from the last one. This one is, for you guitar players out there, it's C, G, C, F, B flat, D. So the only difference from the last tuning is that the fourth string is down from an E flat to a C. So. And this tune is basically a funk tune. I grew up in Montreal during the heavy-duty funk and R&B days, and Montreal really took to it. And also you hear little Miles Davis quotes every once in a while in this tune. This is called Dracula and Friends Part 1. And I'll just mute your guitar. Just remind me to turn it back on again.
I'm muted here.
You are? Okay, good. All right, cool. Here we go.
I only have one button to push. Many more buttons to push.
There you go. Request time. Dracula and Friends Part 1.
Any questions up there?
Oh, let's check it out. Bending with fresh set of strings. It sounds killer. Well, one fresh string for sure. Very nice. Oh, lots of nice comments. Cool.
Cool.
Let's see now. Oh, I have somebody wants Michael right after that one. Is it not in the same tuning, is it? No, it's not.
Oh, that
great.
never stopped you
That's
before.
never stopped me
No.
before. That's right. Way cool. Nice to see so many people taking it in and enjoying themselves.
Nice.
Anyway, take her away there, boss.
Yeah, like I want to take a second to shamelessly plug a project that Dawn and I have been working on for a little while. Can I do that?
Go ahead.
All right.
Just talk more into the microphone.
Okay, so for the last almost a decade, Dawn has been kind of trying to find time to do this subscription-based guitar lesson type project. There's a lot of great lesson programs out there that allow people to kind of play at their own pace and revisit lessons and, you know, become a learner, bend your mind, learn a new skill, learn a new instrument, etc. So finally, you know, when COVID hit here in the Maritimes, we decided now's the best time to kind of take on that project. And we put our heads together and put together the beginning platform, the beginner lesson platform for the Don Ross Guitar Academy. And we were able to launch about 27 lessons in kind of the beginner category for those who want to revisit some basics and those who are right at the very beginning, you know, learning to pick the right size guitar for you, put a set of strings on, all that kind of cool stuff. So this is what we worked on this year, and we put together the Don Ross Guitar Academy, and we're just going to be continue to build it with intermediate and advanced lesson videos. And so the idea is that people subscribe for a monthly fee, and you have access to everything that you need in terms of you have to watch the lessons on the website, of course, but you can revisit at any time and any pace that you want. We also do a weekly online studio pop-in on Facebook, which we will also stream to our website eventually, for those of you who use Facebook. Now, we've been doing this weekly pop-in on Saturdays typically, and it gives the members the chance to kind of become part of this Facebook group community and troubleshoot, ask tech questions, figure out how to get unstuck from certain places. And it's been really, really fun, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
total fun.
we're doing that on a weekly basis. And then on a monthly basis, we have a live Q&A. We just did our first one yesterday on January 30th. And we spent an hour or so with the members. And Dawn was the special guest for this particular one so that we could kind of get the monthly sessions off the ground. But next month we have Andy McKee joining us for our monthly live Q&A. That is February 13th. And then March 13th, we've got Callum Graham to do the live Q&A. And then April 17th, we've got John Gom from UK to join us for our special guest live Q&A. So we're kind of slowly building this rapport with our members. Anyway, you can see it on the screen there, the donrossacademy.com. And for those of you who are wanting to learn kind of everything, the basics, and then into beginner lesson type of stuff, everything from tuning and finger picking, strumming, really good stuff. Don, what else could you say about it?
The whole idea is basically to sort of help you learn from the beginning. In this case, we have the beginner lessons up right now. So from absolute beginning up to the point where you learn to finger pick and flat pick and learn a song.
Yeah.
And to understand the music behind what you're playing, not just to just learn music by numbers. I'm actually trying to encourage people to use their ears, understand music better, understand how chords work, how scales work, how intervals work, how to actually, really understand it. So, and I'll be doing that all the way along. We're finishing up the videos for the beginner level now. They're being edited now, and they'll be uploaded in the next couple of weeks. And then after that, we're going to start working on the intermediate lessons. And then you advanced people, you're going to have to wait a little while, only because you're a smaller group, and the tunes are too convoluted for a lot of people, so you'll just have to wait a little bit longer. But that stuff will be coming along real soon. We're really going to concentrate on it now that I'm finished my MA program. I handed in my final project on Tuesday, really early Tuesday morning. After many weeks of sleepless nights getting that done. It was an enormous job. But if you're interested, I posted a link on my Facebook pages to the audio anyway from the film that I scored. You can just listen to it as one continuous half-hour cue and sort of do your paperwork or whatever with that in the background. It's kind of cool. It's full orchestra, so a lot of fun.
Really cool.
All right.
Anyway, so that's just the project we've been working on.
That's
just
that's the commercial.
Yeah, that's the commercial, but it's more or less just what we've been up to during COVID.
Yeah.
La la la.
All right, Brookie, play us another tune there.
All right. What will I do?
Jonas, sorry, I see your question here. Intermediate and advanced courses involving lessons on composition. I wasn't really going to concentrate too much on composition in the lessons, only because they're really guitar lessons. I was going to concentrate on the theory and harmony behind the playing, as well as teaching the tunes. I'll probably allude to the way that I've composed pieces of music, which is really insightful. It's good to know that. So the answer is yes, but I'm not really going to focus on composition in the lessons. That won't really be the main thrust. The main thrust will be the actual learning of the technique and the tunes.
And I'll also add to that when we do the studio pop-ins weekly and do the monthly live Q&A with our guests, it gives you a chance to kind of talk to those guests and to Dawn about how they go about composing things and how they've kind of brushed up their craft over the years. Because people like this, like John Gom, for instance, is, I would call, more of a singer-songwriter in that realm than just a guitarist. And I think it's so cool that guitarists like him marry those two so beautifully. So when it comes to someone composing songs in that regard, I mean, it just might be a really cool opportunity to talk about your composing and ask them about their composing. And those kinds of conversations are certainly available, even if the lessons aren't, all about composing craft songs.
And just as an aside, a lot of people are requesting Cannonball. I don't know if
Oh my gosh,
I don't know if you rehearsed that.
I love you guys. It's not going to happen today. Sorry. Oh, you guys, Cannonball. That's great. Yep, that one's in the vault. I'll pull it out for the next one. This is what's this called? We'll call this Cannonball, shall we? This one's called You Never Lose.
When you wake up in the morning with a small war on your mind, before you even gain consciousness, before you open your eyes, you wanna hurry hard and your feet are running at an unforgiving pace. I don't want my mornings to be like this anymore. You can yell a proclamation until you're blue in the face, and your feet are steady running at an unforgiving pace again. You need to holler hard and yell it good and loud until your throat is hoarse. I don't want my heart to be foolish anymore. And you give it all away. You give it all away. You give it all away, but you never lose. And you can give it all away. You give it all away. You give it all if you've been here before and you refuse to do something about it, but what you crying for? You need a heavy heart, you need a tough tongue, something you can rely on. Well, you wanna make it harder than it is. Oh, you're gonna do it to yourself. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you one time right. If you can do this right, I promise you it'll be better than it ever was. And you can give it all away. You give it all away. Give it all away. But you never lose. You can give it all away. You give it all away. Oh, and you give it all away. But you never lose.
Yeah.
Go.
Very nice indeed.
Thank you, thank you.
Thanks, Brooke. Lots of good comments and questions.
Yeah,
People are saying the song is called "You Never Lose," but don't ever lose your voice. A lot of people are saying, it's very nice to hear.
thank you.
Chris Darling, you have a question. Hi, Chris. Chris, I presume you're still in radio, but I remember doing your radio show in Maine years ago, just down the road in Maine. Your question was, how am I routing the signals today? And you said it sounds great, so I'm really happy to hear that, because it was a bit of an experiment today. So what I'm doing is I'm running two computers. One of them is my computer that has my digital audio workstation in it, and the one I'm using is Pro Tools. So I'm running our microphones. I decided to just use mics today. Well, I mean, the guitars have pickups and mics in them. So, and not get too involved with too much wiring. So everything's just going into my interface. I have a Focusrite interface that has 4 mic preamps on the front of it. So the guitars are each in one, and the voices are each in one, so that makes 4. Brooke's using a switcher box to go back and forth between 2 guitars. And then that gets put through Pro Tools, and then I'm just running a bit of compression on my guitar because I play kind of hard, and I'm running a bit of reverb full time on everything. I'm bringing that in and out during the tunes when I remember to. And then that's going back out of that computer into another interface, another Focusrite interface, just a 2-channel one, and that's going into my streaming software, which is Ecamm, on a second computer. And then that's that, in addition to the video signal from our HD camera on the other side of the room, gets streamed together and comes to you through Restream, which is allowing us to stream it to more than one platform at the same time. That's basically how it works. It was a bit of a learning curve for me to get it all together. I've been doing recording with DAWs for years, but the whole streaming concert thing, of course, really started anew for me back in May. That was the first one I did. The first one I did was for Jam Play in Colorado, and then I did another one for a website in China. And then I started, then Brooke and I did one for last May for the Festival des Guitares du Monde up in northern Quebec. And so that sort of got the ball rolling, and then we've been doing them pretty regularly since. And Dalhousie University has had us do a number of them, so that's fantastic. And that's why there's no no PayPal or any kind of info that way, because Dalhousie is nice enough to pay us for these. Great. And there was another comment, and I've just lost it. Anyway, but thanks for the question, Chris. Got a request for this next one. Hopefully this string will cooperate and not break. Please, please, please don't break. Looks good. Going back into that C minor 11th tuning. Which this tuning, I came up with for this next piece of music. I wrote this tune back in the late 90s, and I was so pleased with myself because a minor 11th chord has 6 different pitches in it, and the guitar has 6 different strings. Now, it's not always the case that you can get all 6 pitches in a chord that big on your instrument, but in this one particular case, you could. There's a chord that has always been my favorite chord in standard tuning. Basically, it's this. It looks like this. It kind of looks like a B minor 7th chord, but you raise the F sharp to a G on the 4th string with your pinky there, and you leave the bottom string open, and you end up getting this really big, beautiful E minor 11th chord. And this tuning is that exact chord voicing down 2 whole tones. So incredibly full and rich, lovely tuning. But the cool thing is that the top 3 strings are basically a B flat chord, like a second inversion B flat chord, and the bottom 3 strings are what's called an open voiced C minor chord. You play them all together, you get this big chord that, if you think of a C minor chord, C minor scale rather, it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. So all the odd numbers up through the C minor scale. If you take those numbers and those notes and kind of rearrange them a little bit, you get this nice voicing. Anyway, I thought I had invented the tuning back in the 90s. Turns out that somebody reminded me that John Martin actually used it back in the early 70s on an album called Solid Air. And as soon as I heard that, I'm a John Martin fan from the time I was 10 years old. As soon as somebody reminded me of that, I thought, yes, Solid Air, I can hear it. That's the tuning, absolutely. So it must have been registered somewhere in my subconscious. It's a very strange tuning.
If you play it backwards too, it's always a really good recipe for like a sweet potato pie.
Oh, if you play it backwards,
Yeah.
it's a recipe for sweet potato pie, according to Brooke Miller, here on January 31st, 2021. You heard it first. Anyway. So I wrote this tune in a train in Germany. It's called So Little Time. Oops, there go my glasses. Well done, Don. All right. Fortunately, I just taught it to someone the other week, so it was still fresh on my mind. It's hard to keep all your material at the front of your memory when you've got, especially when you've got like hours of repertoire. Plus everything else that's been going on. I've had, written hours of music for orchestra this year, so it's just like trying to keep it all straight. But I guess keeping the brain plastic, warding off bad things for as long as I can.
That's great. Any questions there?
Oh, there's lots of nice comments. Just wondering if I could ask a question about the Don Ross Academy. Would absolutely love the acoustic guitar, but struggle. Could I actually learn to play, or am I just someone who loves to listen? Really, when it comes to learning an instrument, the most important thing, especially when you're not 5 years old anymore, is to be patient with yourself. I think that's the big problem, is that as adults, we tend to want to be good at things right away, even though usually we're not. Usually we have to learn anyway. I'm constantly learning new skills, and I realize how little I know about most everything when I go to learn something. And so I've gotten used to it being frustrating and hard to get used to new skills. So with the guitar, it's frustrating at first. It's hard at first, but it's rewarding once you start making a nice sound and once you get the hang of it. The ability to create nice sounds and nice music on your own through a lovely instrument made of wood and metal, and that isn't just a computer or whatever. It's a fantastic feeling. So are you just a listener? I think we're all listeners. Do you have the skill set? I think you have just as much of a skill set as most people would. So I don't see why not.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it.
I would also add that sometimes we want to play guitar or play an instrument or learn something, we kind of start from the middle or start from a place where we're not really ready to get to, or because we have an expectation, or we know what we want to play because we hear it in our heads, or we hear it in the music that we love. But when you have a platform that you can just start from the very basics and help you understand the fundamentals, essentially it's kind of waking up some stuff that maybe you're ready for because you're hearing it in music that you love, and somehow it's going to translate into your playing eventually.
Gotta talk a little closer to your mic because
Sorry.
people can't hear you.
Right. So when you have a good platform that's going to break things down for you and help you build up a structural understanding of, whether it's visual or theoretical or playing by ear, playing by theory, all those things encompassed are going to help you just understand your best way of learning. You want to ward off Alzheimer's and learn new skills and keep your brain active like a good muscle, then hell yeah, take something, and learn something brand new. Get frustrated and put it down and pick it up and put it down and pick it up. But, challenge yourself because it's super rewarding and fun. So
There are a few questions here, Brooke.
Do it.
One of them is Jason, our buddy Jason, wants to know, is
Jason.
your guitar a cedar top?
Oh, so typically, actually, Greenfield uses spruce on his tops. He doesn't use cedar as often because spruce is kind of already opened up, or it doesn't take as much coaxing to open up. So in the past, I've heard him talk about how he really likes the way that spruce resonates with his particular builds, his bracing, and this kind of sound, tone, and resonance that his guitars have, just as a kind of a characteristic of his guitars. They're just known for this sound, and spruce is what helps make that sound possible. So typically, yeah, I know Greenfield uses spruce. I know he's used cedar in the past, but I think he's just more, unless he's doing things differently. I know this one is a spruce top, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, good question.
Another question for you, Brooke, about
Sure,
the guitar
yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about how wide the nut on that guitar is?
Oh,
It's on an angle, so it would be longer than normal.
yeah. It's about from the tip of my finger to my middle knuckle.
There you
long.
go. I think it goes for 1 3/4.
Yeah, I would say that's about it. That's again, like, it's a fan fret, but it's a very mild fan fret. It's not motion sickness fan fret, I like to call it. Yeah, so I would say 1 1/4. Sounds about right.
The other thing too is that Brooke is a lot smaller than me, but her guitars are just the same size as mine, and so they're big body and wide neck.
Yeah.
Because she's a fingerstyle player as well, that extra real estate on the fingerboard really helps. It's sort of a hybrid neck width, somewhere between a usual steel string guitar neck and a classical guitar neck.
Yeah. And I would also add that I'm comfortable on this particular neck size, even though I have super tiny hands. I have the smallest hands, and I also have the smallest face, and they're about the same size.
Brooke
so-
actually said in her sleep one time, "Yes,
I-
I'm very small-faced."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, she
Okay.
actually
We're
said
going there, apparently.
that. She says great things in her
Stop it.
sleep. Just saying.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start a website about the things I say in my sleep, because no one's ever done that before. Anyway, but yeah, I think 1 1/4 on the nut, and again, like a slight fan fret. It's again probably it's a hefty neck. I can manage it just because I've had to kind of manage it. What are
But
you gonna do?
you've always played larger guitars
Yeah,
anyway.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love this one in particular. It feels like a jumbo. It sounds like a jumbo / baritone, and it just has such a big resonance. I always think of this as a metal guitar. Like, I go back to metal a lot.
There's a question here, Michael Scheel. You wanted to know the name of the last track because you missed the name. It's called "So Little Time," the one I was just playing. And what's interesting was that there was actually a remix that we put on an album a few years later. So I wrote the tune in Germany, and then there's a German composer named Christoph Bendel who really liked the tune. So he took it and did a remix, and so that one's called "So Much Time," and it's on an album that's really hard to get now except by streaming. It's called Robot Monster. Anyway, so if you check out there, it's a really cool electronic remix.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. He even sampled typewriter sounds and there's all kinds of weird sounds in it, and birds and flutes and all
And it's
kinds
almost half time. Like, it's not the tempo that you just played at.
of.
He really slows it down and takes the time, and he breaks the guitar parts up in ways that the guitars are playing to a backbeat that's a lot slower.
Yeah, and he adds kind of a trap kit sound to it as well.
Pretty cool.
It's really cool.
It's very cool.
Yeah. Let me just see now if there are any other questions. Okay, maybe we should each do one more tune, and then
I think
that'll
you know
be our
what,
that'll be our
we're
Sunday
3
concert.
o'clock on the dot. So why don't you finish up?
Okay.
Here? Yeah.
Let's see now. I noticed that people were asking for "Afraid to Dance," so that's going to be a bit of a challenge tuning wise. So I'm gonna just mute my guitar so that just in case anything terrible happens, then you don't have to subject your ears and your computer speakers to it. Let's see now. What am I?
So I'd like to hear another Dawn song. I mean, we live together, but I don't get to hear him play very often, and vice versa, I think. We usually just sit around and drink coffee.
Well, it's funny because for years we toured together, and,
I know.
and we just heard each other's music all the time.
Yeah.
And now Brooke doesn't really play out anymore, and there, of course, there's been no touring at all for the last almost a year. So I've been playing a lot less shows except for these, and otherwise I've just been writing lots of music for film. So it's been a different kind of year.
I think in 2021, I'd really like to do something different musically. I miss being in a band. All those years ago, playing in a punk band. Who doesn't like to thrash around? But yeah, so I'd like to do something differently, I think, musically. But I was thinking about doing another little EP style recording and just putting it out for free on SoundCloud or something. Anyway, maybe I'll have to talk to some of my remote friends about doing collaborations.
Yeah, that's certainly very doable these days.
Yeah, exactly. And we're both kind of transitioning into different careers, I guess you could say, and they both have creative aspects to them. So, and we can both be working from home. So, might be time to do something fun. Since we can't tour, and
That's
you're
right.
doing this fantastic orchestral, all these great projects that are coming up for Don, which I'm sure he'll reveal to you in due time. But and then and I'm taking care of the Guitar Academy. So
Yeah, Brooke's
time
kind
to,
of masterminding that.
yeah, so it's time to do something fun and creative.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll start a metal band.
Yeah, man.
I don't know why I
Go
keep
for it.
coming back to that, but
Well, I'll have to learn the hand signal. Nice to see everybody. Thanks for being here this afternoon or this evening or this morning, whatever time it is for you, and this middle of the night. And greetings from the east coast of Canada. Of course, we do these on periodic basis, so just keep checking your email. You can join my email list really easily if you go to my website. It's donrossonline.com. You can just join my email list, and then that way I can keep you informed. There's also Facebook, and there's also, other ways of finding out. But Twitter and all that stuff.
And I'll do Cannonball next time, I promise. I know I did it the last show, and it's a song, honestly, I tend to neglect. So thank you for reminding me, and I'm glad you want to hear it. So it'll make me want to juice it up a little more. Okay, so thanks again, everyone, for joining. And Dawn's going to finish, because this is just so much fun. So do it.
So this is a tune. I wrote this back in the day when my late stepson was really into, he was really into what everybody was calling alternative rock. Like the Pearl Jam imitators and all that stuff, all borrowing the same guitar distortion pedal at the same studio in Seattle, that kind of thing. And through his bedroom door, I could always hear this sound like, and I realized that was the guitar distortion basically soloed going through the wall. You could always hear it over everything else. And then I happened to mention at dinner one night that a lot of that, alternative rock stuff sounded a lot like my Black Sabbath records I had when I was a kid. And he looked at me sideways. He had no idea what Black Sabbath was. Of course, the Osbournes hadn't had their own TV show yet. So then I also happened to mention in the same conversation that I had seen a rerun of an old interview with Kurt Cobain, where at the dawn of the 90s, he felt that there wasn't as much of a generation gap between parents and kids. Kurt and I would be about the same age. So, my parents, my dad grew up listening to opera and classical music. My mother listened to cowboy songs. And here I was listening, to a bunch of other stuff, including my Black Sabbath records. And they thought I was darned to heck. Anyway, so I mentioned, I said, isn't that cool? Kurt Cobain kind of felt like there wasn't as much of a generation gap. Like parents and kids are listening to the same kind of music now. And at that point, I could actually see him recoil in disgust. And the next day, he started listening to nothing but gangster rap. And I thought, okay, well, that's different. But the sound that made it through the walls, instead of the sound, was the sound like... And I thought, okay, that's the drum loops. That's kind of cool. I could hear like the swing 16th kind of backbeat rhythm to a lot of it, and actually I realized, a lot of it was like Stevie Wonder and a lot of the funk stuff I grew up listening to. So I thought, yeah, there's a continuum there, cool. And so I thought I can borrow that. So I ended up writing this next tune based on that experience. And as far as I know, it's the world's first hip hop inspired solo guitar tune. This is called Afraid to Dance. Thanks for joining us today. All righty. Well, thanks everybody for being here. Brooke Miller, Don Ross,
Don Ross.
coming to you from just a little southwest of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Thanks for being here. Thanks to everybody at the Dalhousie University Guitar Department, especially Professor Doug Reach for having us play for you today. They sponsored the show, and they bring a lot of great live music to you streaming, so check them out. Anyway, great to see you, and we'll check your comments and maybe get back to a few of you directly. Okay, thanks everybody.